Look at you looking so fly.
It's my Tuesday morning, so I'm
Yeah,
feeling good.
I thought it was Monday too. I was like, yo, let's get this Monday going.
Right.
I put in effort, man, to like look like this. I was like, yo, I gotta freshen up, get ready. I got a celebrity in the building today, and I love your backdrop. Where are you? Are you in the city? Like, where is your
I'm in
surroundings?
I'm in Scarborough. I'm
Pew
in my
pew pew
bedroom.
pew 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 pew. I don't know why I do that when I hear Scarborough. Shout out to Huddle Space in Scarborough. You're in Scarborough. I'm in Scarborough. Awesome.
Yes. So yeah, I'm just here. This is actually a little sari that I have as a background behind my
What?
bed. I put it up a few years ago just to feel more at home. I was missing the vibes, so I just had to have this behind me. So it brings me like peace when I come into my room. I feel more at home.
That's amazing, man. If you need a creative spot, this is a plug-in for my friends at Huddle Space. They've got a really cool joint by Lawrence and Warden. I didn't even know they existed until my buddy invited me, and I fell in love with those folks. If COVID and life was different, I would totally have an office there. And they got this really beautiful garage door that opens up. It's just chill vibes, and you forget you're in Scarborough. And I was like, what? Where am I? So if you ever need a cool spot to go, chill, get some new inspiration, definitely Huddle Space is a good joint. Um, but yeah, I've wanted to catch up with you since we met through Balu at the Brown event. Um, Big shout out to the new video and music that came out, which is amazing.
Thank you so much.
You know, let's get to the immigrant mindset, man, from Mumbai to Scarborough. Um,
I definitely I'm glad you brought up the immigrant mindset because I feel so what I'm doing it's almost like I have to so um so that's why I feel like yeah it is an immigrant mindset. It's that hustle, go. I mean, it can be good and bad. I feel like that's what we will talk about today, right? How that hustle also affects your mindset and your mental. So
right.
yeah, been a quite a process and quite a journey coming to Canada itself, coming to Toronto, immigrating here from Mumbai, but
Was it
it's
a
been
conscious
good.
thought? How much control did you have in the move? Were you like, I'm gonna
Not at
go?
all.
What was that process like? And I'll tell you
No,
why in a bit, but
it was more so my parents. It was their decision. They wanted me to get better education in Canada, and
why? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why did the air quotes happen? I'm so fascinated by the
um,
subconscious behavior.
because I'm from I grew up in Bombay, and then I still think the education system there is pretty advanced. I mean, if I compare it to the system in Canada or like the school system, in my opinion, they're just more advanced than Canada. And then coming and doing university here, I seen that it is beneficial if you do continue to do graduate and then do your PhD or do your masters. And if you're really focused on academics, it's worth it. But for me, I didn't know I wanted to be a lawyer. My parents wanted me to be a lawyer, so I did criminology from U of T. I graduated in that, and then after that I was
What?
like, yeah. So I have my bachelor honors of bachelor in criminology and social legal studies. And after that I kind of just was working 9 to 5, and that's when that's when this music and art came about, because it was really affecting my mental health, just working 9 to 5 and that hustle.
Yeah,
So I turned
yeah,
towards art almost like a therapy and stress reliever. And that's when I seen that there was maybe more potential in just in it being than just more than a hobby.
You know,
Um,
I want to interrupt for a quick second because what I love about these morning conversations is, um, along with listening to your life, uh, I don't know how to express myself. I'm a very visual thinker, and so most of the time I express myself with doodling
yeah.
or like I'm constantly rolling with an iPad because I have the pen When I'm talking
Yeah.
to people, I literally like wait, and then I scribble some stuff and draw a little thing. I be like, this is what's in my head. Or I express with like noise and energy. Probably why I'm a
Yeah.
DJ, because I can story tell with content.
Yeah.
But when we talk, and I talk to another amazing group of folks in the last
Hmm.
45 days, you give me words to articulate. Um, and what's really interesting is this idea of like uh, education system is advanced. Like I was
Hmm.
born in India, but I grew up in Singapore, which is equally
Okay.
competitive. And then I
Yeah.
come to Canada, and I was like, wait a second, like why does grade 8 in Canada feel like grade 4 in Singapore? Like it's just so weird,
Exactly.
right? And now that I have a company in the school system, and we help homeschooling parents
Hmm.
get better at homeschooling and not put the kids through the pressure of school
Hmm.
the way it's meant to be, I look at academics as a pressure cooker
Yeah.
more than advanced. Like in India and even in Singapore, the value of the academics engaging somebody's ability to be a good human or a
Hmm.
good provider is so high,
Higher. Yes.
right? That there's a pressure cooker that says you're better than you because you're an A+ student versus a
Hmm.
C- student. And here, we're not judged by that one singular thing,
Yes, that's correct.
right? Which then frees up
Hmm.
like space to do other things to explore.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm sharing all this is the second thing you said, which was fascinating to me, is you turn to art.
Yeah.
I believe we let art out.
Hmm.
That's already there,
There.
which we learn how to bottle up, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the 5-year-old version of you like? What was the 7-year-old version of you like? Where was that art in those days?
It literally started since then. I can remember as long as like the earliest memories that I have is me dancing, me singing, me drawing. I used to take part in competitions, like even like the fancy dress competitions. I was actually just talking to my friend about that. And so being on stage and performing has just it's just been natural to me. So I think, as you said, actually, it was just bottled up all these years because going into the education system and you're almost forced to push aside those things and focus. So I think all those years, because I was just focusing on studying and then coming to Canada and then having to just it's a whole new world, learning so much about a culture and being exposed to a different education system. So I feel like that in that process I let go of that art, and then
Yeah,
eventually it just came out. It had to come out after university.
it had
So
to come out. It
that's
always
exactly
does.
what happened.
One of my favorite quotes, I don't know who said it, but I'm repeating it to myself for over 25 years. The path you take to run away from your destiny is the path that takes you to your destiny.
Yep.
And as much as you try to run away from who you are, you're gonna run back to you no matter what happens,
Exactly.
you know?
That is so
There's
true.
so of all the expressive ways you can connect with like yourself and then share
Mhm.
it to the world, uh, when I first met you, I knew you were into writing and poems,
Mhm.
but I remember the first time, I'm like, get on stage with us. And you're like, nah, no, oh, do it. And then you did it anyways. But now you put a video out, man. Like, what was that transition like? That's a huge move.
I'm actually so grateful for you to push me that day. I remember
Like,
I was
go.
very nervous. I was so nervous, but that day, seeing other artists come on stage and other rappers, especially speaking in Hindi and rapping in Hindi, that motivated me a lot. And of course, you just being a constant push and in a good way, because that sometimes you need that as an artist too, because as an artist we tend to overthink our own abilities and how we present ourselves or how we are just in general. So I feel like that I needed that from you. So it was great to it was almost like me going on stage showed me that, hey, I can do this. Like this is not something I was thinking that is going to be bad or I'm going to be terrible at this. But so and then that's when I realized that, okay, I've done this before. I've done this when I was a kid. So it all started coming back to me, and I just had
Muscle
to put all
memory.
those pieces together. And
Yeah.
even with making the video, it was it was just kind of like that process. I was very nervous at first. It was like a 3-day shoot, so it was a lot of work that I pretty much did on my own, with me and my videographer. So even through that process, I learned how things can just go as they're coming. Are just like
Mm.
in the flow. So I wasn't really making things happen a certain way. It was just coming together, and that's what I like about even my journey. It's just, it's organic. I didn't force to be here in music, or it's just all coming naturally. And that's why I don't really put myself in a genre or of hip hop or rap. I'm just an artist. I started writing music to help myself, and I thought that it would help others, which is why I put Rukna Nahi out. As you can hear from the lyrics, it's very motivational. They are simple words, but I feel like with everything going on right now, it's people need just simplicity and just being like, okay, this Rukna Nahi Jhukna Nahi, and I can do that. Like, don't stop, keep moving, don't bend down. And with
Yeah.
everything going on, especially COVID, I feel like that's a very important message, which is what stuck with me through the COVID months or lockdown
Yeah.
months. And yeah, that's when I thought that it's important for me to put it out in the world and let others feel motivated as well.
Yeah, I love that, man. And you're dropping bombs today. Bombs. Like the other word I love is flow.
Yes.
Uh, and flow is a beautiful thing. There's many different ways to explain it. People talk about, the yin and yang and the energy source and the universal connectivity. There's many ways to describe this stuff. Um, Talk about flow, because people, when they talk about passion, when they talk about like struggles, when they talk about like things being forced versus flow, how do you recognize flow? And then it's usually the flow that scares us,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like, oh, it's a little too easy. And then
Yeah.
what are we taught in school or in life? Like when things are too easy, it's gonna fuck up. It's not
Yeah.
gonna stick around. Things
Hmm.
that came too easy, everything should be full of pain and suffering to be like,
Exactly.
and then flow happens. We're like, wait a second, this relationship is actually pretty dope. I
Yeah.
actually like this job. My
Mhm.
friends are awesome. What's gonna go bad now?
I feel like as a human, we just we're so weird. When something good happens, we're like, oh, is this it? Like, is there gonna be something bad? Or when there's bad things, we're like, oh, where's the good in this? Like, are we gonna ever get out of
What's
it?
the lesson? What's the lesson?
What the lesson? Yes. So I think for me, over the years, I had to learn that, or when something bad happened, I would always look at the lesson. And then when good things happened, I would just let them happen instead of worrying, as you said, about, oh my God, like what's next? Or is this it's too good to be true? Like even with Ruknanahi, that's how I was feeling. Because I mean, even though it's been 2 years since I'm writing this song, I've been trying to release it. Last year I was trying to, but it just didn't work out. And then this year, just after COVID, I think it was because I was in balance.
Mm.
And for me to be in balance, I feel like it was like up and down. um, and I feel like everyone goes through that before they really feel like they're in balance, because you really have to fall to learn. And whatever that fall is for you, I feel like it's different for everyone. So for me, I literally fell, and that's why had to bring myself in balance. I had to find myself in that process. And in the past, even through COVID, I feel like it almost pushed me to dig deeper, because of everything that was happening again. And I honestly felt very depressed, because it's just like so much going on. And I didn't have a job, so it was like, what am I supposed to do? I have family to support, so there's so much going on. And
Mm.
that's when movement helped me, which is just getting up every day, even in the morning. Sometimes even if you don't feel to get up, just get up. Like,
Mm.
and that can be even just to get up and walk, even just to get up and do jumping jacks. For the longest while, last year, I would just wake up and start doing jumping jacks. That was the only way that would wake me up and get me motivated, because I was commuting to work downtown. So to wake up in the mornings is it's a whole another hassle when you're commuting. So that was the only thing that kept me going, is doing the jumping jacks, and then I would do the Surya Namaskar. So, and then
Mm.
eventually it's finding the balance, right? And I realized that the jumping jacks were the best thing to do first thing you wake up. So I eased into stretching and eased into Surya Namaskar, eased into breathing. And those are the things that help me bring more flow and more balance into my daily living. And those, and it's still things that I try to do every day, because you do have days where you just wake up and you don't feel like doing anything, and that's just the
Yeah.
truth. And sometimes you have to also flow in that and let your body be the way it is, let it rest, let it feel that way. But you know that you can't feel like that every day. The next day you have to get better, you have to do better. So it's okay to take rest, but you know you have to keep going. And that's when, like as I said, the Rukna Nahi song is just, that's when it came into play. And it was like, no, you need to move, you need to get up, like exercise, go out in the nature, even grounding. I know you've been doing that a lot as well, and that helps so much. Even just walking bare feet on the grass, and there's
Mm.
there's something about that brings in the balance and brings in more of a flow. So yeah, that those are
No,
the things that
I
help
love
me.
that. Where do you find representation? What I mean is like one of the reasons I started this show or podcast or whatever people call it is I wanted us to see more people like ourselves, so we can see that we're not alone, and that, and it's not from a negative perspective but also a positive. Like when you see somebody else's shine, you're motivated to go shine, right?
Exactly.
uh there's another a quote that I love telling people, like lighting your candle doesn't diminish mine,
For
right?
sure. That
But I
is
got
so
to kind
true.
of know that I want to, you want to help. Um, and so often, like when I started my entrepreneur ventures, my parents didn't know any other representation that looked and sounded like me. So as far as they're concerned, there's Satish, the unemployed guy,
Yeah.
and then there's other folks that are with kids that are working, but
Hmm.
they didn't understand what entrepreneurship was, or startups was, or building your own company, because there wasn't anybody that looked like me that was
Yeah.
doing what I was doing, right? Similar to Desi Fest, when we started it, we're like, no, we're gonna go build a urban version that talks about stereotypes and gender issues and biases, and not just continue to celebrate Bollywood.
Yeah.
And because I didn't grow up in India, I saw the darkness in the message than what everybody else saw, which is entertainment and music.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, there's misogyny going on. There's still gender issues. There's cultural biases.
Mhm.
Why would I put that on stage, right? And so when you look at yourself now as an artist, where were some of the inspirations coming from? Um, there's already immense amount of pressure to be an artist and create, but now you add the layer and label of female artist to it, then you add the new immigrant to it, then you add a music industry that doesn't exist for us yet,
Yeah.
right? And when you look at all of those pressures, how do you look for representation? Who inspires you? Who are you following, going, man, that person, male or female, like
Yeah.
I want that vibe, I want to figure out their blueprint.
Um, to be honest, for me, I'm just start talking about just as a creator. One person I've truly looked up to has been Lily Singh, and I know it's gonna sound a little cliche for a brown girl to say this, but she has. I feel like she's been an inspiration for me since I moved to Canada, because I've been
Mm,
watching her videos since 2011, literally, and seeing somebody on the internet back then 10 years ago, it was crazy. Somebody who was brown, and she was a tomboy, so she had the similar vibe like me, and she didn't care how, like, if she wore too much makeup and her hair or this or that. So that energy really resonated with me and still does. I still think she's a great person. Bought her books, I've watched her shows, met her. So I feel like, and that was, to me, even meeting her was like, it was insane. I was like fangirling over her when I met her 3 years ago, because
that's amazing.
what she's done for us brown girls, it's means a lot. And it's really representation, and it's exactly what I'm aiming to do, is be that person who represents myself and makes other girls feel that they're represented, and then they can do the same thing as well. So I definitely would say Lily Singh, and there's so many other artists that are coming up now, that are still emerging, that that definitely motivated me in my journey and inspired me. I would say Navs 47. Um, there's Suka Never Dies. She's another sub pop artist, and there's just so many women artists from Toronto, from Bombay. In Bombay, there's a emerging artist called Kranti Nari, and this there's so much good music that's being made, so much good music that's being made from heart, and I feel like that's what we need today.
Mm.
That's the energy that we need, and I feel it really coming in. The new wave, as I say. I can really see that emerging now. So it's good to see so many artists and female artists coming up.
I love that, man, and I love the fact that you sort of consciously did the first version, which is go and get your degree and become a criminologist and pursue that. And
Yeah,
then now you're taking the same discipline and the same hustle and going, okay, I'm going to put this into my creativity. And and a lot of folks that get into the art, they are stuck in releasing content, meaning like you took 2 years for you to put this out. I come from a different mindset where like as soon as it's in my head, I want to give it to the world.
yeah,
Sometimes unfiltered, sometimes not perfect, sometimes not clean,
mhm,
but to get it out there, out of me is more of an importance than perfecting it. And the
yeah.
longest I've ever waited to see beauty is 9 months for two kids. That's the longest I've ever waited. I was like, if I can somehow take those things out in like 3 days, let's go. I can't wait. But when I hear artists that are, coming out after 2 years, a year, how do you find relevancy in that content from 2 years ago? How do you wait so long to release it? And then
Yeah.
when you finally release it, what's there now?
Mhm. I feel like with Rukna Nahi, or most of the songs somehow that I write are more relevant as time goes by, which is and something that I don't understand, but it's happening.
Mm,
That's just the content that I'm writing. So I feel like that's what happened with Rukna Nahi. When I wrote it 2 years ago, to be honest, it didn't make that much sense then. If I'm really being honest with you, until COVID hit, and then now it's a whole different meaning to it. I mean, it adds more of a layer to it, which is like, hey, like this is what's going on, and you don't need, like, you can't stop, can't bend down in front of this. So that's what happened with Rukna Nahi. And even there's few other songs that I'm writing, and I feel like they're to me they will always be relevant because the message is self-motivation and doing better, and that's something we
mm.
can listen to any day at any time of the day, and you'll feel like, okay, you can do better than what you did yesterday or what you did 5 hours ago. So it's just that mindset, and maybe because I have that, or that's the mindset I aim to have, or and keep going at it. Apologize.
That's okay. Somebody called. I've been getting calls all day. I'm like, guys, you know my routine for the last 50 days. I get up and I don't deal with any other human until I get my morning talk done. Like, why are people calling me with 9 to 10? Talk to me about what scares you.
Um, what really scares me is not achieving my dreams, not achieving my purpose, which to me feels like helping people. And I feel like if in order for me to do that, I need to help myself. That's what I realized. Major thing this year, and so that's what I'm working on right now. Is truly working on my mental health and just my well-being and being in balance with myself, so then that way I can bring that energy to others, or even just when I do put out my songs, it's conveyed in the way that I want it to be out there, and
Mm,
make people feel a certain way, and make people feel motivated, because especially with Rukna Nahi and other songs that I have come, I want people to feel something. I want people to feel motivated, inspired, or even if it's just to get up and do what they need to do, get on with their day. So yeah, it scares me to not achieve my dreams. That's my biggest fears, I would say.
no, I love it. And I think uh, one of the things that scares me now is I've seen my lack of self-love. And I've spent 25 years uh, chasing my dreams. And most of my dreams were centered around what did I want to give to the world?
Mhm.
And then COVID created an emptiness where I was completely uncomfortable because I'm just stuck with myself.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I don't actually know me. I know the Sats B version of me. I know the entrepreneur version of me. I know the friend version of me, the husband and the father version of me, but I don't know me.
Yeah.
And it was probably the scariest awakening. And I realized nobody ever teaches you self-love.
Hmm.
We go to school to study to serve the world with these incredible skill sets. But why isn't there a class on self-love? Why isn't there a class on how to understand your thinking and your own voice? How do you practice self-love?
For as I was saying, for me, it's because it's been a process. Even to learn self love, as you said, it's because we're not taught that. It was hard for me, to be honest. All bec- just there's a lot that has happened in my teenage life and just as a childhood. So I feel like love has always been dependent on other people. Like you have to find love, you have to get love from other people. So self love, really only came when I started focusing more on my art, and when I was just alone by myself, and I'm doing certain things and I'm learning more about myself. That's when I learned. I'm like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, or this is what I want to do. And to me, that was self love, in literally getting to know myself, as you said, right? Is because we don't know. So how can we love ourselves if we don't know ourselves? So to me, it's been a process, and it's still a process. I'm still learning, but the things that I do to reconnect with myself is literally be alone. As it's not to say it's depressing, but just take time on your own, and again reconnect with reconnect with nature, whether with that's just walking in nature or even just meditating. I feel like closing your eyes and breathing,
Mm,
that's been a major breakthrough for me as someone who has anxiety and panic attacks. I feel like breathing, we forget to breathe, and it's just
mm,
it's almost it's natural to it, because when you're panicking, you have so much, your energy is here, it's not in your breath. So I feel like when you focus that energy back into your breath, you re-understand your own body and you understand what's going on within. So for me, it was really reconnecting with how to breathe properly.
mm.
Because I sad to say, but I didn't know how to breathe properly before.
Well, it's funny
So
when you say it because we've been breathing unconsciously since we're born, like our
yeah.
first breath. And then when you sit there and you go, as an adult, I needed to learn how to breathe again. It is a mind-blowing conversation, which we can dive into for an hour on its own, which we should do.
For sure.
I also like how we're reframing the idea of being alone,
Mhm.
because every time growing up, you think about being alone, it's a negative connotation, like you're alone, or you're a
Yeah,
loner,
you're
or you're a
lonely.
this.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then as we get older, we crave alone time. Like for me, you know, uh, getting into my car and going for an hour ride and not listening to anything and just being alone on my thoughts is a gift. Like I'm like, wow, I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
What a powerful feeling. As we get to the end, I'm gonna take a sip of my best mom cup ever. Shout out to Michelle. As an artist, and then as somebody who's potentially in a career that is, fairly good, like,
Mhm.
criminology, focusing on legal, and then that is like the most financially stable thing our parents want us to be, right?
Yeah.
And then the opposite is like this artist lifestyle where it has got the least amount of financial stability, but the most amount of self-discovery.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with money?
My relationship with money has been up and down. I'm gonna be honest. As someone, as an immigrant, as a student who just graduated, I just have a 9 to 5 job now. I'm still learning. I'm still learning to manage my money. But I think the most important thing I've learned is to save.
Mm,
That's one thing that my parents instilled in me since I was young, is to save money. Even no matter how much of a paycheck you get, if even if it's $100, just save $20, $10 from that. So I think my advice, and that's how I was able to release this music, to be honest, is through my savings, is because I saved specifically for this project over the years, over the 2 years that I was waiting to release it. I was saving because I knew to invest in something like this, and if I wanted to put it out there professionally and make it, just have it for the rest of my life. This is because that I wanted to be there for my generations to come, for them to see that. So I wanted to do something professional. So I had to save money in order to invest in that. And not just for that, I feel like even investing in yourself, unfortunately money does make the world go round. So you do have to kind of work with it and use it to your advantage. I used to be the person, oh, money is evil and this and that. But literally, COVID changed that, because when COVID hit and I didn't have a job, and now I have to support my family back home, or just like little things, and I didn't have the money, and I had to literally wait for support from the government. So that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, money does matter. We can use it to our benefit, but we shouldn't put that much importance on it to be like, oh,
Yeah.
like, I need money to be happy. I feel like
Yeah.
happiness can come from within. Money, yeah, it will come. Like, you just need to do what's right for you and your family, and I feel like money will come.
Yeah, and I think the way you worded it, it has been, you use it more than it uses you, is a lesson I learned. For me, money is no different than the need to eat, the need
Yeah,
to sleep, and the need to be functioning. You can choose to live in a mansion and be broke,
yeah,
or live in a nice apartment that you can afford. Just like you can, stay hungry because you want all the money in the world, or you can stay hungry to do the things you want to do in life and find the right amount of money you need to accomplish the things you want to accomplish, versus chase this thing that is never enough. To sign us off, if you're in the mood to flow, give us a
yeah.
little bit from the track that everybody can listen to, and then I'll cut and paste it into the bigger video, and it'll be dope. But are you in the mood to flow a tiny bit?
A little bit, sure. I can maybe do my Marathi verse, because I
Yeah.
like my Marathi verse a little bit better. Um, so it
Here we
goes
go.
like,
Introducing Fenny on the Text Beat Show, live and direct. Let's do this.
ए रुकना नहीं कभी झुकना नहीं घेऊन येतय मी भरती देवाची शक्ती नाही मला भीती नको मला त्रास प्राणी आमचे मित्र माता आहे धरती धरती धरती.
What? And for those of you that are watching this versus listening to it, uh, we just saw a human transform, like your physical demeanor, it's like the Hulk, like a physical change happened the minute you turned into the flow. And that's what I mean when I tell people, you can tell when you're in the flow, when everything about you subconsciously changes. And we just saw it happen. It just boom, you got into the flow. I love you for it. Keep flowing, my friend. And thank you so
Thank you
much for
so
joining me
much.
this morning.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for bringing me on Money Talks. This has been really nice, and I'm just happy to share my story. And
Yeah.
thank you for this opportunity, Satsby.
Listen, we got first clip of you on stage. Now I got the first interview clip of you. When you blow up, I'm gonna be like, look, I got all this data, and she's my friend. It's gonna be
Yes,
crazy. But have
you've
a
been
have
there
a
for me
great.
since day one. I
It's,
appreciate
it's,
you
it's gonna be fun, man. You're doing great. We need more positive message and more representation. I
for sure.
see how important it is for us to be able to see people in our culture that look like us, sound like us. And I used to think like um, I'm being stereotypical, or I'm not being inclusive, but I realized it's okay to want a version of us.
Yes.
It's without making it feel like I'm hating on somebody else. And this is where that quote of, in lighting your candle, mine doesn't diminish. In
Yep.
loving my culture, in loving my people, in loving my language, I'm not hurting somebody else. But by
That's
not
true.
focusing on us, we're losing the ability to create our representation. And you are somebody who's leading that, and you're going to do amazing things. And I love you for it. Thank you for this morning.
Thank you so much, Satsvi. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It's this has been such a great talk. It just made my whole day. I'm ready to take over
Listen,
the day today.
I'm so tempted for it to step back and let's do some jumping jacks, but no,
Right?
let's not do it. We'll do it another day.
For sure.
I love you. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Sats. Take care.
Okay,
Bye
talk to you
bye.
soon. Bye.